Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour. This is India's voice to the world. My name is Mark Lim. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi meets world leaders and CEOs of top global corporations ahead of the mega Vibrant Gujarat Summit in Gandhinagar. US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken to meet Israeli leaders in Tel Aviv, following his meetings with Arab leaders in UAE and Saudi Arabia. Taiwan accuses China of interference in the presidential elections after Chinese balloons fly directly over Taiwan Strait. China denies the allegation. India's President Droupadi Murmu confers the National Sports Awards in the Rashtrapati Bhavan today. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a two-day visit to the western Indian state of Gujarat. Prime Minister Modi held bilateral talks with Jose Ramos Horta, who is the president of Timor-Leste, at the Mahatma Mandir in Gandhinagar. And the leaders discussed ways to enhance bilateral and cultural ties between the two nations. Prime Minister Modi will meet CEOs of top global corporations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also held bilateral meeting with Mozambique's President Filipe Jacinto Nyusi in Gandhinagar. Both leaders held productive discussions on ways to further bilateral ties, including in the areas of defense, counterterrorism, energy, health, and maritime cooperation. Prime Minister Modi suggested that the two countries could work to enhance their air connectivity to give a boost to business, culture, and people-to-people relations. Later today, Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate the Vibrant Gujarat Global Trade Show. A total of 100 countries are participating in the trade show. As visiting countries, 33 countries are joining as partners. This time, the trade show will feature 13 halls, each dedicated to vibrant themes, including Make in Gujarat and Atmanirbhar Bharat. Around 450 micro, small and medium enterprise units. They are taking part in the trade show. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the 10th edition of the Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit on the 10th of January. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met the President and the CEO of Micron Technology, Sanjay Mehrotra, in Gandhinagar. They discussed Micron's efforts to enhance the semiconductor manufacturing ecosystem in India. The CEO of Micron Tech said that the company has started an Atal Tinkering Lab in India's Sanand, and it's going to cost around $2.7 billion US.
He's such a visionary leader of India and so dedicated to advancing semiconductor manufacturing here in India, and we were pleased to have the opportunity to update Prime Minister Modi on the progress that we are making with our Sanand project. So a meeting was dedicated to that, as well as Micron's focus on continuing to increase the workforce for semiconductor manufacturing here in India.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi met the Vice-Chancellor of Deakin University of Australia, Professor Lane Martin, in Gandhinagar. Both leaders had a productive discussion on enhancing collaboration between the government and academic institutions pertaining to cyber security. Prime Minister welcomed Deakin University to collaborate with Indian universities for promoting research and innovation.
We had a truly fantastic conversation around the future of education, skilling and research in India, clearly focused on us being in India for 30 years, but tomorrow inaugurating the first international branch campus at Gift City of Deakin University. So this is a very auspicious and special day, and to combine that inauguration with the Vibrant Gujarat Festival, with Prime Minister Modi being here, is a very special time indeed.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met the CEO of DP World, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem. Met Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Both leaders held discussions on DP World's plans to further bolster investment in India, especially pertaining to creating sustainable, green and energy-efficient ports and also world-class sustainable logistics infrastructure.
Was an excellent meeting. This man is amazing. His energy, his vision is what drives us and inspires us. It was very inspiring. We discussed about our investment in India, expanding it. We are acquiring industrial lands. We are going to put manufacturing ourselves. We will invest in manufacturing in various areas in India. We are actually going to move some of the high-tech industry somewhere where we have today to India, because India has better facilities, better engineers, global reach. India's reputation as a market and as a trade partner is well respected around the world.
And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met the CEO of AP, Keith Svendens, in Gandhinagar. Prime Minister welcomed their expansion plans in the gift city of Gujarat. Their discussions encompassed the crucial topics of green hydrogen and the development of logistics infrastructure.
First of all, it's really good to be here at Vibrant Gujarat, and a great honor to have the opportunity to discuss with the Honorable Prime Minister about his 2047 vision for the country and how that feeds into the maritime sector. For us, it's very exciting to have the opportunity to discuss that with the Prime Minister. And I must say, very inspiring policies, and I was very impressed with his knowledge about the details of our industry, and so it was a very good meeting.
AP Moller is a logistics and transport company. Now, India's Prime Minister also met the representative director and president of Suzuki Motor Corp, Toshihiro Suzuki, in Gandhinagar. Both leaders, they held discussions on Maruti Suzuki's plans to make India a strong player in the global automotive market by exporting made-in-India vehicles. They also held talks on deploying global best practices related to vehicle scrapping as well as vehicle recycling into India. And Meghna Dev now joins us from Gandhinagar with an update. Meghna, Prime Minister is holding bilateral meetings with world leaders and also meeting CEOs of top global corporations. Tell us a little bit more about the meetings.
Yes, so when we actually talk about the meetings, Prime Minister Narendra Modi did meet CEOs and the president of global companies. We definitely see that first he did meet the CEO of Micron, Sanjay Mehrotra. Essentially, when we know that Micron has an investment in Gujarat, in Sanand, where they are setting up a manufacturing unit, we are also talking about more investments. Not only that, the CEO of Micron also spoke about that how Micron is now working to bring in more skilled personnel in the semiconductors industry, how the workforce can be skilled so that they can work in the semiconductor industry. So that was one of the more important aspects that was being discussed, and also obviously the progress of the Sanand project of Micron. Besides that, also when we talk about DP World has investments in the Kandla port in Gujarat. We know Gujarat has an extensive 1,600-kilometer coastline, which is which makes it very important for companies like DP World, because they are into ports and also into what DP World also told us that they are interested in setting up industrial parks in Gujarat. Besides that, when we also talk about the Prime Minister's meeting with Suzuki, we definitely see that Suzuki has been a very old, almost a 6-decade-old partner with Gujarat, and that partnership definitely, the projects and the partnership has been growing from strength to strength. Keeping all of this aside, a very important development that definitely is essential in the sector of education is the Deccan University campus coming up in Gift City in Gandhinagar in Gujarat. And that makes it important because there is another university, Wollongong University of Australia, which is also expected to, which will also come up with a campus at Gift City itself. So definitely when we are talking about important aspects in terms of business, we're also talking about important aspects wherein more education universities, international universities can come to India, and especially when it starts from Gujarat, it makes it even more significant. summit.
Yes, Meghna. Also, the trade show begins today, and it showcases lots of things, including the decade and disruptive technologies as well. So fill us in with the themes and sectors on display.
Yes. Definitely. So when we actually see that important themes are on display, first of all, when we actually see the global trade show, it's not the first time the Vibrant Gujarat Global Trade Show is taking place. Since its inception of the Vibrant Gujarat Summit in 2003, this has been, and every summit ritual that there is a global trade show wherein exhibitors come, exhibit what they have in terms of tech, what they have in terms of collaborations, what more business, what more investments can be done. So all of that. And when we actually see that 13 domes, and out of which thousands of investors, over a couple of thousand investors, exhibitors are there, and these exhibitors are exhibiting what they have in terms of tech, in which sector they are looking forward to invest in Gujarat. There's also a dome which is specifically dedicated to international exhibitors. Like we have a pavilion of Japan, we have UAE, we have Finland, Norway, Australia, UK, Netherlands and more. So we can definitely see there is a lot of interest from international exhibitors also to definitely come and look forward what more prospects can be explored in terms of investments in Gujarat, and obviously that would impact India at large.
Indeed, and now we're talking about the Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit, and it's focusing also on Gujarat's roadmap to Viksit Bharat by 2047. Can you tell us a little bit about this vision?
So when we actually see how Gujarat has come up from 2003, the first edition of the Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit, to now the 10th edition of the Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit. Obviously, we know that due to the COVID pandemic, this summit could not be held. It's generally held biennially. And when we actually look at the theme this time, it's Gateway to the Future. We're talking about important aspects. We're talking about blue economy. We're talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat. We're talking about Make in Gujarat. We're also talking about EV, emerging tech, and much more. So definitely when we actually see these areas of cooperation, these areas where investments can definitely be enhanced, we definitely actually see how, when we actually see that how Gujarat has been steadfasting in this sector, and more to come. We definitely have important investments in the port sector. We have investments. We also did have, some tech exploration in terms of desalination plants and much more. So what more Gujarat can do when we're talking about the diamond industry, we're talking about the textile industry. Gujarat is a state which is known for its industries, which is known for its business. And when Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit comes, it definitely brings in more ideas, more aspects to explore.
We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Meghna, for updating us from Gandhinagar. Now, the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken met Israeli President Isaac Herzog in Tel Aviv on Tuesday in a bid to prevent the Israeli-Hamas conflict from spreading further. Speaking to the visiting U.S. Secretary of State, Herzog thanked Washington for its support to Israel. Anthony Blinken also met Israel's Foreign Minister Yisrael Katz as well, and he hinted at opportunities for Israel's regional integration once the challenging moment in Gaza conflict is overcome. And Trent Murray is joining us from Tel Aviv with an update. Trent, what can we expect from Blinken's meetings with the Israeli leaders?
Well, namaste, Mark. Yeah, it's a big set of discussions that Secretary Blinken is set to have here with members of the Israeli War Cabinet. We know from what the State Department is telling us that the Americans are really tracking three main threads as part of these conversations. The first is the immediate situation in Gaza. We know America has been pushing Israel for answers on when it's going to move away from high-intensity operations to more targeted ones as the casualty count continues to climb amongst civilians. We also know, number two, this discussion of the future of Gaza, what happens after this conflict comes to an end. The Israelis are saying that even after the war finishes, they want to maintain security now within the Gaza Strip in order to try and protect the state of Israel. But they do say that when it comes to civilian affairs, it's up to the Palestinians to manage that themselves. And I think Washington is keen to get some more detail around how that will happen. And the third is just this real concern that diplomats in this region have about this conflict expanding beyond Gaza. We've seen, rocket flurries from north in Lebanon, airstrikes in Syria. We've got the situation with the Red Sea and those Houthi rebels in Yemen. So look, a lot of concern right now that this war could just continue to expand. And I think that's why the diplomats right now are really trying to, dial up the diplomacy in order to try and dial down the tensions.
So what is the latest then on the Israeli hostages still held by Hamas?
Well, there's over 120 of them still being held in captivity by Hamas and also the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. We are hearing some reports in Arabic language media that the negotiations have now just recommenced in Cairo. Allegedly, a senior security delegation travelled to Egypt last night to sit down and recommence those negotiations. Hamas called them off last week following that airstrike in Beirut, which killed their deputy leader, Salah Aruri. There is some hope potentially of recommencing the negotiations to try and get those hostages out. It's now been 3 months for Israeli families here, desperately waiting on news of their loved ones still being held within the besieged strip.
Trent Murray from Tel Aviv, thanks very much. Our next story, Blinken's visit comes at a time when Israeli officials have said that they are entering a new phase of more targeted warfare against Hamas. The IDF, in fact, claimed to have uncovered the largest weapons production site since the beginning of the conflict in Bureij. Bureij is a densely populated civilian area in central Gaza, and the IDF took control of Bureij as battalion headquarters on Monday. The Israeli forces said that they located various components from long-range rockets capable of reaching northern Israel. Underground long-range rockets manufacturing facilities were also recovered. Light weapons and UAVs, explosives, mortar shells, accuracy enhancers and tunnel shafts, which went approximately 30 meters underground, were also discovered.
It's a mortar shell. It's a big one. I think it's 120 million.
So still to come here on DD India News Hour. Mass cancellations by tourists continue to the Maldives.
We bring to you the legendary city of Ayodhya and tell you what makes Ayodhya everything that has got to do with the land of Lord Ram.
यहाँ रग रग में हर जगह राम ही है।
सनातन धर्म के लिए तो गौरव की बात है।
कण कण में भी भगवान राम की सत्ता का एहसास हमें होता है यदि हम लोग ध्यान से उसका अवलोकन करें। आज भी होता है।
This is 10th century old Hanumangadi temple.
यहाँ हनुमान जी महाराज राजा के रूप में बैठे हैं। भारत की संस्कार, संस्कृति मठ से, मंदिर से, साधु से, संत से, ऋषि से, मुनि से, महात्मा से जुड़ा हुआ है।
ये विष्णु का मस्तक है, तो यहाँ पे हर कण पावन है। यहाँ
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Amidst the ongoing row between India and the Maldives, several Maldivian organizations have called for positive relations between the two countries, terming the posts and comments as irresponsible. Now, several associations, including the National Boating Association, the Maldives Association of Tourism Industry, they've issued statements condemning the action of the suspended Maldivian officials over their anti-India comments. The organizations noted that India has been a close and a friendly neighbor, the first responder as well during crises. And meanwhile, pressure continues to mount. It rises on the Maldivian government as several leaders there are initiating no-confidence motions in their parliament. Israel is set to commence a desalination program in the picturesque Lakshadweep Islands of India. In this unfolding initiative, they have shared compelling images to offer a glimpse of the captivating underwater beauty that defines the allure of these islands. And moving on, in the second campaign speech of the year, Joe Biden, this is his second campaign speech of the year, he hit out at Donald Trump for refusing to accept that he had lost the 2020 election. He called him a loser, in fact. This visit comes as his campaign sharpens its attack on the former President Donald Trump, who is the frontrunner for the Republican Party's nomination of 2024. Biden described Trump as a threat to democracy, citing the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol by Trump supporters in 2021. The attack was by Trump supporters who believed that the election in 2020 was stolen from the Republicans, who were initially in the lead till late counts changed their fate.
And losers are taught to concede when they lose. And he's a loser. So let me be clear, for those who don't seem to know, slavery was the cause of the Civil War. There's no negotiation about that.
Californian Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom on Monday set a mid-March special election date to fill the U.S. House seat vacated by the former Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Newsom set the March 19 primary date for the 20th Congressional District contest, and if no candidate actually wins a majority of the vote, the top two vote-getters will then advance to a May 21 matchup to fill the seat. Newsom scheduled the election 2 weeks after the state's March 5 presidential primary, which will give candidates additional time to campaign for the vacant seat. McCarthy decided to step down 2 months after his historic ouster as the House Speaker. In Washington, a vehicle crashed into the exterior gate of the White House complex. The chief of the communications of the U.S. Secret Service, Anthony Guglielmi, said that the driver was taken into custody. The cause and manner of this incident is being investigated. A Delaware man was charged last month with drunk driving after he accidentally crashed his vehicle into U.S. President Joe Biden's motorcade. An explosion at a hotel in downtown Texas left 21 people injured. The explosion at the Sandman Hotel was likely caused by a gas leak. It left rubble on the streets between the two buildings. Nobody was killed in this explosion. Authorities are investigating the cause. Construction was going on in the building at the time. It was not clear if that played a role in the explosion. A caravan of about 2,000 migrants on Monday resumed their journey through southern Mexico. This after participants were left without the papers that the Mexican government appeared to have promised. The migrants, including some carrying young children, are walking to the southern Oaxaca town of Tapanatepic by road. The caravan's leader, Luis Villagran, said that the group of mostly Central American and Caribbean migrants are ultimately headed for the U.S. border. Last week, the group had dispersed after boarding buses to processing centers. They hoped to receive travel permits, which would allow them and their families free transit through Mexico. Ecuador has declared a state of emergency for 60 days, a day after Ecuador's most wanted prisoner, the leader of the Los Choneros criminal group, disappeared. This is from jail where he had been held. The Ecuadorian president, Daniel Noboa, declared emergency on Monday and launched an operation to locate him. Adolfo Macias was serving a 34-year sentence. It is the first big security test for Noboa, a young businessman who took office in November. He had promised to crack down on soaring levels of violence in the South American country.
I have given clear and precise instructions to military and police commanders to intervene in controlling prisons. I have just signed the state of exception decree so that the armed forces have full political and legal backing in their actions. I call on the citizens, because this is everyone's fight, and to show their support, that things must change in the country and that our laws are not enough to live in peace. There is no room for opportunistic politicians to seek advantage amid a prison security crisis. We will not negotiate with terrorists, nor will we rest until we return peace to all Ecuadorians.
The Russian and Ukrainian armies continued to exchange fire on Monday, with each claiming to have hit the other's military targets. This is according to the latest battle reports of the two sides. Now, 3 civilians in the Russian region of Belgorod sustained injuries in the latest Ukrainian shelling. The shelling damaged windows in 2 high-rise apartment buildings. Russian air defense forces intercepted multiple rockets and drones of the Ukrainian army. Meanwhile, Ukraine has claimed that its army continued to engage in multiple battles with the Russian army on the left bank of the Dnieper River. Let's take a look now at other stories making news from around the world. At least 2 people were killed after a shooting occurred in the Big Lake Road and Highway 33 area of Cloquet. This is in Minnesota in the United States. The police lifted a shelter-in-place order after confirming there was no longer an active threat to the area. The shooter was also found dead. Winter storms hit parts of the central United States on Monday. They left roads, farmlands and vehicles covered with thick snow. And the Central Weather Service said that the major storm is likely to impact large portions of the central and southern plains, Midwest and eastern U.S. through midweek. Sony Honda Mobility, a partnership between Sony and Honda, unveiled the Afeela electric vehicle at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas on Monday. In a fun way to show the latest iteration, the vehicle was brought on stage using PlayStation 5 DualSense controller. And the American actor Willem Dafoe, who recently starred in Poor Things, was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Monday. Dafoe has made over 100 films in his 40-year career and has been nominated for 4 Oscars as well.
Come back a little. Not only walking, you're in. Mommy.
Japan's government on Tuesday approved the allocation of $33 million from its fiscal reserves to support recovery from the Noto Peninsula earthquake. The death toll jumped to 180 on Tuesday after a series of earthquakes had followed that 7.6 magnitude quake that rocked Japan's west coast in Noto in Ishikawa Prefecture on New Year's Day. The cold weather has been hampering rescue and relief efforts, with the highest temperature in Wajima City forecast at 6 degrees Celsius.
The government decided to approve $33 million of spending from budget reserves for the Noto earthquake aid at the cabinet meeting just now. We need to implement this quickly to speed up the process of disaster support and improve the situation in the disaster-hit areas.
India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is on a 2-day visit to the United Kingdom, accompanied by a high-level defence delegation. The Minister Singh, will hold a meeting with his UK counterpart, the Secretary of State for Defence Grant Shapps. Rajnath Singh is also expected to meet Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and the Foreign Secretary David Cameron. Discussions on a wide range of issues such as defence, security and industrial cooperation are expected to take place. Minister Singh will interact with CEOs of the UK defence industry and meet the Indian community as well. Thirteen Indian fishermen were repatriated from Sri Lanka to Chennai on Tuesday. In a post shared on X, the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka stated that back home safely, 13 Indian fishermen were repatriated from Sri Lanka to Chennai earlier this morning. Earlier on January 5, the Sri Lankan government repatriated 21 Indian fishermen to Chennai days after they were arrested by the island nation's navy for illegally fishing in the country's waters. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. Prime Minister Modi to personally receive the UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan at Ahmedabad Airport. And are the Chinese balloons snooping over Taiwan at election time?
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Here's a recap of our main stories. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi meets world leaders and CEOs of top global corporations ahead of the mega Vibrant Gujarat Summit in Gandhinagar. The US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken meets Israeli leaders in Tel Aviv following his meeting with Arab leaders in UAE and Saudi Arabia. India's President Droupadi Murmu confers the National Sports Awards at the Rashtrapati Bhavan today. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to welcome the President of the United Arab Emirates in Ahmedabad today. The UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan is traveling to India for the Vibrant Gujarat Global Summit. The city of Ahmedabad has been specially decorated to welcome the President of the UAE. DD India correspondent Vishal Barrister spoke to yoga performers ahead of the roadshow.
The highlight of this year's Vibrant Gujarat is the arrival of UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi would be holding a roadshow with the President of UAE. It would start from the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport and it would end at the Indira Bridge, which is a 3-kilometer stretch. In between, local artists would be performing for the reception of Prime Minister and the President of UAE. As you can see, these kids, they are performing yoga and they would be performing to welcome both the Indian Prime Minister and President Al Nahyan. Let's talk through some of them and find out. They are 10 in number. कितने दिन से आप लोग प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं?
1 week से.
और टोटल कितने एज ग्रुप के बच्चे कब से कहां से कहां तक?
5 से लेके 23-24 तक.
So there you heard from the teacher. They speak the local language, but they are well versed with the practice of yoga and they've been practicing it in their daily lives as well. With cameraman Jagmohan in Ahmedabad, this is Vishal Barrister for DT India.
And Vishal Barrister now joins us from Ahmedabad with more on the story. Vishal, put into context the importance of this visit by the UAE President and also Prime Minister Narendra Modi personally welcoming him.
Well, absolutely, Mark. This is the 10th edition of the Vibrant Gujarat. It was vision of the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, Narendra Modi, and today it is going to be our mega show. Now, why UAE is so important for India? The United Arab Emirates is the largest business partner of India in the region, and we have 38% of the population in UAE of Indian origin. India and UAE had signed CEPA, the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement in 2022, and both countries agreed to take the bilateral trade to $100 billion. Right now, the trade between the two countries is $68 billion for India and $40 odd billion in favor of UAE. And this Vibrant Global Gujarat Summit is going to act as a catalyst between the two countries as far as increasing the business between the two nations. And President of UAE would be holding a roadshow along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as you saw in my report. Unlike Delhi, it's quite a warm day here in Ahmedabad, and it is quite sunny as well. So people are expected to come in large numbers to welcome the Prime Minister of the country and also the President of the UAE.
Indeed. So tell us a little bit more then about the roadshow, Vishal, with the UAE participating in it as well, and also the UAE's participation in Vibrant Gujarat Summit itself.
Well, yes, Mark, as you saw in my report that both the state heads of the two different countries would be there in the roadshow. The whole idea is to tell the world that UAE and India are growing stronger and stronger by the day, and both have had a very strong relationship. Unflinching support India gave to UAE in COP24, and also UAE reciprocated in the G20 summit which India hosted. So the two countries have been growing very, very strong, and they want to tell the world that India and UAE, apart from being strong business partners, they are also very close politically and diplomatically as far as the two regimes are concerned. In this summit, in which other countries are also attending, we have a delegation from Mozambique, we also have a delegation from Australia. So 30 more countries are participating in this event. The focus is on making Gujarat and self-reliant India, and as the theme says, this is gateway to growth. So this event, which would be held from tomorrow onwards, is going to be very, very important, and it would provide a platform for both the countries and also the participating countries. Japan is having the largest pavilion as far as the foreign countries are concerned, and the show is focused on the artificial intelligence, the startups, the blue economies, you name it, and you have it all here in Ahmedabad. It is going to be held in Gandhinagar and partly in Ahmedabad as well. Gandhinagar is the capital of the state of Gujarat.
Yes, we leave it there. Thank you very much, Vishal Barristow, for putting that into context for us. Our next story: in Ayodhya, dancing to the beats of bhajans at the famous Lata Mangeshkar Chowk. A musical band of school teachers is paying attention to tourists. Guitars with bhajans appears to be attractive. Members of a musical band are seen performing on the streets of Ayodhya, sloganeering with excitement, showcasing their talent. These educators from different schools are inviting people to visit Ayodhya. And cold wave and dense fog conditions are likely to prevail in several pockets of North India, including Delhi, Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh during the next few days. The India Meteorological Department has said that the cold wave to severe cold day, in fact, cold day to severe cold day conditions are going to prevail during the next 24 hours, and they will abate thereafter. The Weather Department also predicted a fresh rain spell with thunderstorms, hailstorms also likely over northwest and central India over the next 2 days because of another fresh western disturbance. Meanwhile, schools in Delhi and neighboring regions are either closed or operational online, in an online mode, till the 12th of January. An International Purple Fest 2024, Goa, Innovation Meets Inclusivity. A remarkable feature has been included in this year's edition: sculptures designed for the sense of touch, ensuring an extraordinary experience for everyone. Let's get an idea from our correspondent, Siddharth Bharadwaj.
Well, I am at International Purple Fest 2024, where inclusivity takes the center stage and creativity knows no boundaries. Well, the organizers have put these replicas of sculptures here, which is not just restricted to the visual delight, but can also be felt from the sense of touch.
It's International Purple Fest 2024 in Goa, and in a groundbreaking move,
Organizers have erected replicas of sculptures, creating a unique experience that transcends virtual boundaries. In a pioneering move towards accessibility, the festival showcases tactile replicas of renowned sculptures, inviting everyone to engage with art through touch.
These are actually tactile replicas of the heritage monuments, national and international, and of local Goa state also. So these 20 replicas are here basically. If we imagine that how a blind person can realize or understand that how a Taj Mahal or any other heritage monument looks like, so he or she will not be able to understand unless and until he is able to touch and feel it.
This year, the festival goes beyond the visual realm, ensuring that everyone can engage with artistic expressions on display. These specially crafted replicas provide a tactile journey, allowing individuals to connect with the sculptures through the sense of touch.
Actually, this is first time I'm coming to Purple Paste. This is today is a very excited to watch this event. This event decided to all handicapped people. This is a big opportunity in Goa government.
I am very happy to see this all structures and all statues.
The International Purple Fest 2024 goes beyond visual appreciation, embracing a more profound connection with the art.
We have come up with 20 replicas which are accessible and universal in design. Why do I say that? Because it's printed 3D, it has braille, it has a QR code. The moment you scan the QR code, it gives you an audio of what exactly the monument is all about. A person with blindness, a person with deaf blindness can exactly touch and see the shape and various things done on the monument and why the monument is so important.
The International Purple Fest 2024 breaks barriers and opens up a world of art for everyone. It's an absolute delight for persons with disabilities. It's the second day and a lot more is yet to come. With camera person Shubham Sharma, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for DD India in Goa.
Let's take a look now at other stories making the news. The Indian Navy's fast attack craft INS Cabra arrived at Sri Lanka's capital Colombo on Monday. In a presentation ceremony, essential spares and stores meant for the Sri Lankan Navy and the Air Force were handed over by the ship. The visit further strengthens the bilateral cooperation and camaraderie between the two countries. The Indian Army released a video highlighting the joint military exercise Desert Cyclone 1 in the state of Rajasthan with the troops of the Indian Army and the UAE land forces. The exercise is enhancing the interoperability between both armies in sub-conventional operations. A chlorine gas leak was reported on Tuesday in Jhajra area in the northern Indian city of Dehradun, and the NDRF and other security forces rushed to the site. Residents complained of breathing difficulties. Residents of the area have been evacuated. The Indian city of Ayodhya is all decked up with solar lights ahead of the Lord Ram temple consecration ceremony that's taking place on the 22nd of this month. And the state government has illuminated the parks in Ayodhya with solar trees to promote the use of renewable energy in the temple town. The Indian city Ayodhya is on track to become the solar city of the country. Now, Taiwan's defense ministry has criticized the mainland China government for increased balloon activity over the Taiwan Strait and Taiwan Island over the last few months. Days before the presidential election, in fact, some balloons have flown directly above Taiwan, with at least one detected around a military airbase. China's defense ministry dismissed allegations of interference and accused Taiwan of trying to manipulate the election. Beijing denies it uses balloons for spying and says that they are just weather balloons that have strayed from their flight paths. China's balloons grabbed international headlines, if you recall, in February last year, when one of them, the U.S. had shot down one of those balloons that entered the U.S. airspace and had flown across the country. On Tuesday, the Taiwanese authorities issued an alarm for the entire island, stating that a Chinese satellite had passed over the airspace over South Taiwan. The short message from the Ministry of Defense said that sent out to mobile phone users in Taiwan gave no additional details. Taiwan's ruling party presidential candidate Lai Ching-te said that he would maintain the status quo if he's elected and remain open to engagement with Beijing under the principle of equality and dignity. Taiwan will vote on January 13 for a new president and parliament in an election that China has cast as a choice between war and peace. Despite this, Lai pledged to try to engage with China and that peaceful development is in the best interests of both sides.
I will continue to uphold these policies, which are in the interest of both Taiwan and the international community. I will maintain the status quo and continue to bring society together with the framework of the Republic of China, Taiwan. Our door will always be open to engagements with Beijing on the principles of equality and dignity.
And in India's neighborhood in Bhutan, the final phase of national parliamentary elections began on Tuesday. Voting is underway and the final results are expected on Wednesday. With a population of less than 800,000, Bhutan maintains significant economic ties with India, its largest donor and economic ally. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. An SBI report highlights India's GDP growth has been more inclusive than ever. And football legend Beckenbauer dies at 78.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Now, Asian stocks advanced on Tuesday following a technology-driven surge on Wall Street as investors await the next set of U.S. inflation numbers due this week. MSCI's comprehensive index of Asia-Pacific shares, excluding Japan, rose by 0.5% after U.S. stocks concluded the prior session with gains. Australian shares exhibited a 1.17% increase, and Japan's Nikkei stock index saw a 1.6% uptick. Hong Kong's Hang Seng index rose by 0.26%, while China's CSI 300 index, a blue chip indicator, witnessed a 0.21% decline. On Tuesday, domestic markets, they opened trade on a positive note as the sentiments improved overseas. The NSE Nifty, that's the Nifty 50, it opened with 0.65% gains to settle at 21,653 a little while earlier, and the BSE's Sensex also was up about 0.58%. It was trading at around 71,770. This was soon after opening trade. An economic research report by the State Bank of India, it reveals that income inequality in India has been reduced substantially between the financial years of 2013 and 14 and 21 and 22. The report highlights that 36.3% of taxpayers have moved from lower income to higher income tax bracket, resulting in 21.3% additional income. The income disparity of people earning less than 350,000 Indian rupees has also declined from 31.8% to 15.8%. Okay, time now to get all these sporting updates, and for that we have Deepika with me. Deepika, namaskar.
Namaskar, Mark. Let's quickly tell our viewers what's happening at the National Sports Awards, the 2023 edition. Well, President of India, Droupadi Murmu, conferred the National Sports Awards on the most deserving athletes today. 26 other athletes received Arjun Awards, including ace Indian cricketer Mohammad Shami. Suchitra's report tells us more. Let's take a look.
President of India conferred the National Sports Awards 2023 at India's President House on Tuesday. The National Sports Awards are the pinnacle of sporting honours, which are given annually to recognise the reward and excellence in the sports category. At the 2023 edition of National Sports Awards, 26 sportspersons received the prestigious Arjuna Award. Among the Arjuna Award winners, pacer Mohammad Shami, who had a spectacular run at the ODI Cricket World Cup, has also been bestowed with the prestigious award. Shami was the leading wicket taker at the ODI Cricket World Cup. On the other hand, young Indian Grandmaster R. Pragnananda's coach R.B. Ramesh received the prestigious Dronacharya Award. Lalit Kumar received the Dronacharya Award in the sport of wrestling. Mahavir Prasad Saini received in para-athletics. Shivendra Singh received in the sport of hockey, whereas Ganesh Prabhakar Devrukkar received for the sport of Malakhamb. Apart from this, 6 others received awards in the category of Dhyan Chand Award for Lifetime Achievements in Sports and Games 2023. The awards are bestowed with an aim to promote qualities like leadership, discipline, commitment, teamwork and a passion for health and fitness in the psyche of a nation with the world's largest youth population. Suchitra's report for TD India.
Earlier on Monday, India's Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur hosted National Sports Awardees in New Delhi for a special dinner. He interacted with all the players and shared his experience.
स्पोर्ट्स को आपको देखने को मिल रहा है क्योंकि अब आप कंपेयर कीजिए ना कि हमारे पहले फैसिलिटीज़ कैसी थी अभी कैसी हैं। पहले प्लेयर्स हमारे गोल्ड मेडल कितने लाते थे अभी कितने लाते हैं, तो वो सारी चीज़ें चेंजेस आपको भी दिख रहे हैं। और जहाँ तक पब्लिक का सवाल है, जहाँ तक यंगस्टर्स का सवाल है, वो भी बढ़ चढ़ कर हिस्सा ले रहे हैं, वो भी पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं टीम कॉम्पिटिशन्स में। तो चेंजेस बहुत हैं और मेरा मानना ये है कि जितना आगे हम जाएंगे, जितना हम जैसे हम अपना यूथ देखते चले आ रहे हैं, जो यंगस्टर्स हैं काफ़ी टैलेंटेड हैं, और भी हमें प्लेयर्स मिलेंगे, तो मुझे लगता है कि इंडिया का और ज़्यादा नाम रोशन होगा क्योंकि बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स, बहुत सारा टैलेंट अभी आना बाकी है।
अपनी इंडियन गवर्नमेंट को थैंक यू बोलना चाहूँगा क्योंकि जो स्पोर्ट्स में लास्ट टाइम कबड्डी में गोल्ड मेडल आया नहीं था, थर्ड आए थे, और अब की बार जैसे हम गोल्ड मेडल एशियन गेम में लेके आए हैं, तो आते ही प्लेयर को अगर अर्जुन अवार्ड से सम्मानित किया जाता है तो काफ़ी प्लेयर मोटिवेट होते हैं। और वुमेंस टीम में भी, मेंस टीम में भी, और उनके कोच को भी द्रोणाचार्य अवार्ड दिया गया है। तो ये एक अच्छा है, एक नई शुरुआत है कि आने वाले टाइम में जैसे नेक्स्ट ईयर वर्ल्ड कप है तो काफ़ी इस चीज़ से प्लेयर मोटिवेट होंगे।
On to Asian Shooting Championship, which is underway in Jakarta. Indian shooting mixed team of Mehuli Ghosh and Rudrangsh Patil bagged gold medal on Tuesday as the pair defeated China by 16-10 to take the top spot. Compatriot Ilavanil Villarivan and Arjun Baputa finished at the 6th spot. In women's cricket, India will take on Australia in the third and final T20 international at D.Y. Patil Stadium of Navi Mumbai today. With the three-match affair levelled at 1-1, Harmanpreet Kaur's India have a chance to beat the reigning world champions Australia in their own den and kick off the 2024 T20I World Cup here in style. An only won one series to show against Australia's 4 in their 5 series bilaterals history. Their triumph in away in 2015 and 16 side atop in the list of achievements for this side. India were on a roll in the first game and thrashed Australia by a record margin of 9 wickets, but their batters cut a sorry figure in the second T20, suffering by a 6-wicket loss. Franz Beckenbauer, one of Germany's greatest soccer players, who captained the team to World Cup victory in 1974 and then won the tournament again as a manager in the year 1990, passed away at the age of 78. Beckenbauer was a classy, dominant presence on the pitch for West Germany and Bayern Munich in the 1960s and 70s, using the calmness on the ball and effortless distribution that marked his midfield performances to virtually invent the central defensive sweeper role where he found most of the success. He collected 103 caps for West Germany, winning the 1972 European Championship and then the World Cup on home soil, having lost in the final to England in the year 1966. So that was a quick wrap from the world of sports. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks a lot, Deepika. And, well, hundreds of thousands of devotees thronged the streets of the Philippines capital, Manila. This happened Tuesday. The procession was in honor of the Black Nazarene in Asia's largest Catholic nation. The centuries-old tradition of paying homage to the black wooden statue of Jesus Christ returned after a 3-year COVID-19 hiatus. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. But let's know your thoughts. You can talk to us on the news of the day through Facebook, X, and also on Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India News Hour. My name is Mark Lin. From all of us here, thanks very much from Deepika and myself for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.